The world had fallen into chaos, overrun by the undead. Never thought I'd see the day when the streets would be filled with hordes of ravenous zombies. It all started with a mysterious virus that had spread like wildfire, turning the living into the living dead. My survival instincts kicked in, and I had spent weeks on the run, scavenging for food, water, and ammunition. I had heard rumors of a place, a refuge, or a last resort. The zombie survival shack. Some said it was a sanctuary, a haven hidden deep in the heart of the haunted woods. Others said it was an island. Well, I would soon find out. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows in its wake, I stumbled upon a shack hidden within the fog. It was a ramshackle cabin, its windows boarded up, and the exterior adorned with strange symbols to ward off the undead. Desperation overcame my fear, and I pounded on the door. The creaking of the wood was deafening in the eerie silence. Inside, I found a dimly lit room, cluttered with supplies, canned goods, bottled water, and first aid kits. It was clear that someone had prepared for this nightmare. I secured the entrance and breathed a sigh of relief. As night fell, the shack became my refuge from the horrors that lurked outside. The walls were thin, and the sound of the undead could still be heard, their guttural moans sending shivers down my spine. I huddled in a corner, clutching my weapon and trying to ignore the scratching and pounding on the walls. The hours dragged on, each one feeling like an eternity, as I listened to the macabre symphony of the undead's futile attempts to breach my sanctuary. Then, just as I began to believe I might survive the night, I heard a whisper, a voice from the shadows.
You found our refuge. You found our refuge.
It hissed. I turned to see a figure emerge from the darkness. It was a man, gaunt and pale, with hollow eyes that seemed to see straight through me.
We're not alone here,
he said, his voice dripping with malevolence. My mind raced. Had I stumbled into the den of some other kind of monster? The man's face contorted into a wicked grin, revealing sharp, inhuman teeth. Before I could react, he lunged at me, and I fired my weapon. The gunshot echoed through the shack as the man fell to the floor, twitching in his death throes. As his lifeless body lay before me, I realized that the real horror of this world was not just the undead. It was the living who had embraced the darkness. I spent the rest of the night in the shack, haunted by the knowledge that there were other dangers lurking in the shadows. The zombie survival shack had provided a brief escape from the relentless onslaught of the undead. But in this new world of horror, there was no true sanctuary, only survival, at any cost. Hey, spooky people! How are we feeling with this one? How are we vibing? This one may or may not have been very much inspired by The Walking Dead, which I have to say is one of my favorite series. If you haven't watched it yet and you're kind of into the rundown zombie apocalypse things, come on. If you haven't heard of The Walking Dead, I'm sorry. Have you been living under a rock? Well, anyways, I really enjoyed building this. The outside, I was kind of, trying to build this. Kind of boarded up, but at the same time, trying to use the land that's there, and then the inside it's just a survival horror monster room with a bunch of blood. And, the blood, I'm very, very happy that I decided to make the blood coats, because what would I do in this build without the blood coats? Also on the outside, ooh, I love how, underneath the fence we have, the long streak of blood, so that it looks like maybe a zombie ran into there and kind of, bled out and then has rotted away. Slay. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially the foggy outside and then the dark, dimly lit, grim inside. I'm really happy. I think this one was a success, and I hope that you enjoyed my spooky little story, and I also hope that I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. But until then, stay spooky, people.